how you doing, Josh? My name's Ben Towoff. I've been wholesaling for about 4.5 years now, and this is my buddy Josh. Josh, how long you been wholesaling?
Dude, I've been wholesaling for 4 years as well, man. But I'm not where you're at, bro. That's for sure. 4 years, you really see how like far people go, bro. Like they're at the same time, and we see how far they are in the finish line.
Nice, nice. Yeah, so I've been wholesaling since mid 2016. I've had multiple mentors in wholesaling. The first 3 years, I was basically just focusing on negotiating with realtors and wholesaling listed properties, which is not something not many people do. I still have a small team that does that for me, but it's not the focus of my business now that I'm a little bit more scaled out. Now my company, we are wholesaling in multiple states. We've done deals in already like 5 or 6 markets. And yeah, so last year was my best year yet. Was a little bit rough, but we did about 825,000, which honestly I was very, very disappointed with. So looking to get that up to around 3 to 5 million this year. If I don't get 3 million, I'll be very pissed. I don't think it's gonna happen though. Yeah. So tell me, what about you? What about you and your data business and your wholesaling business? Tell me a little bit more.
Yeah, bro. So I think I'm really gonna like focus on scaling my data business up, man. Cause my first 6 months in the data business, bro, I did 325,000 in revenue. I basically bought that out because I was wholesaling, bro. I saved up 100 grand cash, and I met a guy who owned like three home vector franchises, and he owned like his own mail house and everything like that. And like he was struggling running those companies together. He was like, "Hey, Josh, you have a big wholesale following. Why don't you sell data for me?" And then I made 14 grand in 1 week. And I caught him on a day that he was kind of like a distressed seller, right? Like, oh my gosh, I'm so busy. I'm so busy. I was like, dude, why don't I buy your data business for 60,000? Like because he bought it for 120, you
Oh
know?
wow, I didn't know that. Okay.
And then and it wasn't like I was jumping into any business, bro. I made 14 grand in 1 week selling data. I was like, I see the opportunity. Because like for transparency, bro, I was getting list source records at half a penny per record. And I think that's how you and I met. You know what I mean? Like I was like, I know a lot of freaking people that will pay 1 penny per record for list source data. And so,
Yeah,
that was my intro,
data's a
bro.
big issue. I mean, it's very expensive. So if you're getting it at high prices, it just raises your cost of marketing drastically. So getting the data for a reasonable rate is definitely key, especially when you're scaling up and you're not trying to have these crazy marketing budgets.
100%, bro. I'll tell you this, man, like one of my buddies, I won't mention his name, but he runs like 25 to $30,000 masterminds, bro. And he tells like them to use his skip tracing, use their CRMs, use their everything, right? And like I asked my friends paying for these masterminds because they're paying for them off of credit card, bro. You won't believe, bro. They're paying for them off a credit card. And I was like, how much is he charging you? Like his business charges 15 cents per skip trace. How much is he charging you after you pay the $30,000 mentorship? And they were like, well, he charges me 11 cents a record. And I was like, bro, I get the same thing directly from the business for 6 cents a record.
I know, and it's crazy because even big wholesalers, they're paying a lot of money for records, and it's a lot of money because I mean, if you're gonna go big, you need a lot of fucking records and it costs a lot of money. So that's been huge for me connecting with you because I've been able to get the records for a lot less, and which has allowed me to scale a lot more, a lot more quickly. And then also, you know, when you're investing a lot less in order to go into a new market, I don't really care as much. I can just invest the money and go into the market and then figure it out later, as opposed to someone else who has to overthink, overanalyze. By the time they overthought it, I've already dominated the market.
Exactly. It's better to just buy. 'Cause I think I listened to your last podcast, bro. Like you say it right, bro. All you need is a high equity list, man, and you're just looking for the motivated sellers that you can find.
Exactly. I mean, if you can have a targeted list, but honestly, like if you have a big team, then a targeted list is not so effective because you're going to run out of records quickly. and then you won't have anyone to call. We have an excess amount of leads, so my acquisitions team is always happy because they have plenty of people to talk to and plenty of sellers to lock up under contract.
Let's talk about this, Ben. Let's talk about what works now. Could do 2 years ago, right? Like this, the same thing that worked 2 years ago doesn't work now, right? Like an example, bro, is I used to use PropStream, right? Before, Guru started using it, they started telling everybody about it. Like I had closed like maybe 4 deals from PropStream. But the moment that I started using it, I was like the moment Maxwell started marketing out, Brent Daniels, dude, but I don't know if I should say this in the podcast, but like Brent Daniels, man, he earns 400,000 a year in affiliate marketing. Like that. That's how
Right.
much. Yeah, yeah. But
A
you got
lot of the
example.
people, a lot of big wholesalers, they're making more money off the mentoring and their social following than they are in wholesaling, which is great for them. But at the same time, it's like, do they really know what they're doing? Are they really the leaders in the industry, or do they just have the most following? Um, I mean, I only have about no, almost 8,000 followers on Instagram, but I would say right now, I don't know for sure, but I think I'm probably already a top 10 wholesaler in the United States, but no one knows who I am because I don't have a beefed up Instagram like Rafael Vargas, who probably paid a bunch of people to, beef up his Instagram. And that's good for him if he makes a lot of money off of it. But at the same time, it's kind of false advertising because he's not really that great of a wholesaler, especially with his company going out of business. So, having someone, your mentor, who you're taking your advice for with their company going out of business, it doesn't make a lot of fucking sense. But yeah, so I'm very, very big on like authentic wholesalers. My mentors are, I've had a guy named Dave Dinkle was my first mentor. He mentored a lot of the most successful wholesalers that I know in South Florida. He mentored John Aaron, who was pretty big at one point. He mentored the Mathis twins, who was very big at one point. They're very big still. And then he also mentored, if you go on Google, there's a company called Florida Cash Home Buyers, Gabriel Garcia. These are all wholesalers that have done million dollars plus multiple times, consistently for at least 3-4 years, and that's a real wholesaler, not someone who did wholesaling for 1 or 2 years and made a little bit of money and now mentors people. So that's big. Um, the other thing is that you know, it's like what works today. I mean, realistically, like cold calling is super effective, but it's just like every other thing in marketing. If it's done correctly, it works great. If it's done incorrectly, it's going to be terrible. It's just a matter of doing it correctly. Every marketing source works. It's just a matter of whether you're doing it the right way. And there are little things that you can do incorrectly that will ruin it. And then people think, oh, I did it for a month, it didn't work. And they stop doing it and they're like, oh, it doesn't work. Well, no shit, because you were doing it incorrectly. You didn't even know. So it's like, don't really, in this business, if you're someone who's getting in and you're trying to figure out what works and what doesn't, don't be so keen just, oh, that guy has the most followers, he knows what he's doing. Probably not. I actually posted on my Instagram all my wires from 2020, just kind of to show, like, I might not have the biggest following, but I really know what I'm doing, and I'm literally showing you that I've gotten the results to back it up, and not only just talking about it on my Instagram. So that's definitely important, moving forward.
Dude, that's straight on point, bro. Like my mentor's mentor, bro, has 400 million in the bank. This dude doesn't even have an Instagram. You know what I mean? And these are like the real guys that like don't have time for Instagram because they're building a real freaking business. And
Exactly.
so let's talk about what are you doing? Like, what are those small tweaks that you're doing correctly that keeps you ahead of competition, bro?
Number one, with keeping your cost of marketing as low as possible. So I mean, we do a lot of cold calling and a lot of ringless voicemails, which are both very, very efficient ways of marketing. Cold calling, I get my cold callers directly. I don't have an agency. So I would say the best way to do that is you really need to search, spend some time searching, find one or two very good cold callers, My callers are all in the Philippines and Nicaragua, and they all get paid less than $5 an hour. So that's like a very, very cheap marketing source that we generate a lot of leads through. And then once you find your winning cold caller, you need to find a cold calling, like a team leader VA. And once you have a team leader VA, they can actually recruit all your other cold callers. So what I do whenever I need more cold callers, I just let my VA know and she'll find me the VAs and I just pay her a small referral fee. I'll give her $40 and she's happy with that. She's in the Philippines, it's like $1 million. And I get a great cold caller that I can make a high return on. So that is huge, finding the right VAs, but preferably without an agency, because whenever you're paying with an agency, you're just paying an inflated price for your cold callers. And then the other thing is ringless voicemails are very, very big. Get Stratix, because they basically, you can drop a lot of ringless voicemails for very, very little money. So yeah, Zencall, we use Zencall. Zencall is huge, has to be set up correctly with the call flows. If you don't know how to set it up correctly with the call flows, get someone who does to set it up for you. Pay them whatever, a few $100 to set up your call flows correctly, as well as CallRail. But yeah, and then you can integrate your Zencall with your Podio so that the leads get pushed in directly to the Podio, so you don't have to manually type them in one by one. So those are all things that we've done correctly. The scam likely thing, checking the phone numbers if they're scam likely, that's super important for cold calling. And then also using a lot of phone numbers, because you cannot be dialing with scam numbers. So we use about 5. We actually use, if it depends on how many callers you have, because that's how fast you're going to dial. So you want to have, we usually have about 1 phone number per caller in each market. Well, that's a lie. So we have like 14 cold callers. We probably use about 9 or 10 phone numbers
Per month.
per market.
Uh-huh.
So like I can even like, do you want me to share my screen or
Yeah,
that's too
share your
much?
screen, bro. I think
Yeah.
that'd be freaking amazing.
Here, make me
Oh,
host.
yeah, I got you, bro. All right, done.
Yeah, so like on my Zencall, oh, this is important. Speedtest.net. You have to make sure your cold callers have fast internet. If they don't have fast internet, worthless. So that's very important as well. Trusted Cat. I actually pay all my cold callers an extra $50 a month to upgrade their internet. So yeah, so if you go on my phone numbers, like I have an absurd amount of phone numbers. Like it's absurd. Like you could see like the amount of numbers I have on here. So yeah, so that's super important to have the right amount of phone numbers. And
Yep.
then yeah, that's pretty much it. And then you need to have you need to have a good lead VA to basically recruit cold callers, train your cold callers, and then also do quality control on your cold callers to make sure that they're doing it correctly. So that's important. And then yeah, that's important. I think a lot of people in the industry, the thing that they don't do correctly is that they don't know how to recruit. Recruiting the right talent on your team is super important. But before you go out and you recruit a lot of people, you have to do it yourself.
Right.
Because when you recruit people for your team, they're looking at you as the leader. And if you're not confident in what you're doing, it's very difficult to recruit. I'm uber confident in what I do. So I'm able to bring on highly experienced, highly talented reps on my team very, very fast because they see me and they know that I'm confident in what I'm doing. So they feel confident to come on my team. When you're recruiting talented people, they're not going to work for you if you don't know what the fuck you're doing. It's that simple.
So how many? So you got 14 solid cold callers now. Let's talk about like. So did you get them from Online Job PH, or is it with like referral after referral after referral?
Mm, the first couple of cold callers I did get from an agency. I won't
Okay.
disclose which one, and then I got them directly to me because the agency was just a waste. They weren't even doing anything. They were just basically a middleman making money. They actually reached out to me directly, the cold callers, and they wanted to work for me directly. So after about 6 months working with the agency, I got 3 cold callers, and then those cold callers referred me all the other ones.
So the simple thing is little to no accent, and then solid internet connection. What else, bro? Like what do you look for? Because how many cold callers did
They've
you
got
fire?
a lot. You have to go
Over
through a
20?
lot of bad. I probably had on my dialer over 40 cold callers already. I mean, but we fire them fast. Like if they
Yeah, yeah,
suck, they're off there fast.
yeah.
So, so little to no accent. Um, you have to monitor how many calls they make. You have to monitor their internet connection, and you have to monitor their opportunity ratio. So if I go back and I share my screen again, um, if I go back and share my screen again, if I go to like my call logs, like on my cold callers, so then I don't want to show all this information. Shit. How can you blank that out in the thing later?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, so if I go to like for example, if I go to like this cold caller and then I go to summary view. So if you look at here and you look and I just do check all. So this just shows all of her phone calls. So she's been with me. This caller started with me. Okay, so she's been with me. I'm trying to figure
For a
this out.
month.
I'm trying to figure it out. She started. Um, yeah, so it looks like she started in the 4th. Okay, so this cold caller, she's actually one of my best cold callers. Her name's Katya. She's in Nicaragua. Um, okay, so basically, she's been with me for since the 4th of January. So she's been with me 1, 2, 3 weeks, and she's already made 7,799 calls, which is very, very good. And as you can see, her opportunity ratio is very high. Okay, so she's got about a 0.8% opportunity ratio, which is decent. It's not great. You really want it to be around 1%, but she makes a high volume of calls and she's also getting better. So the opportunity ratio will go up. So their opportunity ratio should be at least 0.8, I would say, after 1 week. And ideally, it should be around 1% in order to really have a good caller. Like if I look at another caller, of mine. This is she's one of my longest tenured cold callers.
Yep.
She did about the same amount of calls as a new one, but she actually has zero point 0.9 opportunity. Oh, I forgot to include the transfers. Okay, does the other one have transfers or no? Let me see here. The transfers. We do live transfers. That's also important. She doesn't have any transfers, but she's got 0.8% opportunity rate. If I look at my other cold caller, senior cold caller, she's got a 0.9% opportunity rate over here, as you can see, over the last 3 weeks. But she also has another 1.4 percent transfers. Okay, so she's got literally almost a 2.5% opportunity rate, which is unfucking heard of in this industry, because I have the best callers in the game. So basically, yeah, that's crazy. She gets 2.5% of her calls. The seller's at least somewhat interested in selling. That's
Perfect.
phenomenal.
So if out of
Uh,
every 100 people, there's 2.5 people, that's a solid lead.
well, solidly, they're interested in selling.
They're
They
interested in
want us.
selling.
They want to hear an offer. Now, that doesn't mean they want to sell. They want a low price, but it means that there's an opportunity to make an offer. So we get on my team with my current setup, we get about 80 to 100 leads a day, people that are interested in selling, and we usually lock up about 2 to 3 contracts a day off of that. And then about of the contracts we lock up, we sell about 40 to 50% of them. So that allows me to get 1 to 1.5 deals done per day. So that's literally that's huge. Now, if you look at my other caller, who's really, really good, she's my best caller. She did a little under 7,700 calls.
Yep.
And she's got, 0.5, 0.1, and 0.4. So she's got about 1%. Now, the reason why her opportunity rate is a little bit lower is because she qualifies the leads more. So she's more qualifying. She doesn't send us as many bad leads. Her leads are a little bit higher quality than my other callers. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah. So, but basically, if their caller's not generating around 1% leads, they're probably not that good of a cold caller. What I did also on Friday was I did a little Zoom call with my cold callers, and I had them do a live speed test on their internet. And all the ones that had lower than like a 20 megabytes per second internet, instant fire on my team, which is why I actually fired 3 callers that day. I mean, I told them, hey, if you get better internet, we can talk again, but it's unacceptable for you to be dialing on my dialer and wasting my leads if you don't even have fast internet. Does that
Dude,
make
that's
sense?
genius, bro. Because I've never heard anybody talk about checking the internet speed. Like I've always like tested their word, but I know their word is not good sometimes, you know. But let me ask you this, bro. So, 30 contracts a month. What's the contract fall through ratio?
We sell about 40%, I would say. I never sat down and did the numbers because I'm
Yeah,
too busy making money.
yeah.
A lot of wholesalers are like really being into KPIs, and that's great. That's great. I do more of like a shotgun approach. I'm like, all right, we got all these contracts. We're bound to make a lot of fucking money because my marketing cost is relatively low to the amount of money we make. So like last month in December, we did 200,000 in wholesaling. 150 of that came from off market, 50 of that came from realtors. So the
Oh,
150,000 that came from realtors, and I bought 3 properties from my wholesaling. So it was really more than that, but we just talked about the wholesaling. I did 150 grand in wholesaling, and we spent on marketing. I didn't sit down and calculate it, but I know for a fact that we spent on marketing probably, honestly, including ZenCall, including calls, including everything, we probably spent around 24 or $25,000. So 24, $25,000 to make a return of 150, which is very conservative numbers for what I'm actually doing because I didn't include the houses that I bought. Um, that is a phenomenal return. That is very, very scalable, if that makes sense.
yeah, dude, that makes perfect sense, bro. What's your
Yeah.
hottest market right now?
Tampa is my best market. Tampa and the areas around Tampa are my best market because that's where it's a good mix of, we have a low cost per lead. We generate a lot of leads around around the sub markets. So all the counties directly around Tampa. Tampa itself is very polluted with wholesalers, but the markets directly around it, where there's still aggressive buyers and we're able to acquire the properties for super low. So Tampa is a great market, and the areas around Tampa. And I have a lot of aggressive buyers there that pay a lot, and then I also have MLS, so I can list them on the MLS.
Oh yeah, dude. Let's talk about that last thing about because I've never really listed on the MLS or listed on Zillow, bro. I've always sold via building a relationship with buyers via like Craigslist, calling cash buyers list, calling hedge fund buyers list, and things like that, bro.
Mm.
Um, but
I actually don't want to talk about that here.
okay, we'll keep it
Yeah,
private then.
personal reasons. Sorry about
Cool, bro. You have any any last things you want to share with the group, bro?
that. I mean, not really.
Where do you get
I
your
do
data
I do
from?
offer mentoring. I do offer mentoring. I last year I was offering for a bargain price of 5 grand. I've had two mentoring students that paid the 5 grand, and now they're getting weekly calls with me for 1 hour, which is like a bargain price for that. We do split deals, which makes me personally invest in their deals to make sure they do well. Because
Okay,
if I had no money, equitable interest in their deals, I wouldn't give a shit. I'm wasting my
exactly.
time. So that is, now I raised my mentoring price to 20 grand. And then we split only 3 deals, and it's 6 months mentoring, 1 hour per week, a call. And then we also do an intro call for 2 to 3 hours, basically get them set up with all the right systems. So that's something that I offer. I know that a lot of other wholesalers that don't really do deals, they charge even more for mentoring. So I would highly recommend that if you're serious about building your business, to consider me as your mentor. And I won't take you as a mentoring student if you suck, because it's just not worth my time, and I don't want to take 20 grand out of someone's pocket that won't be able to succeed anyways. The other thing is that, I mean, I can go on for hours, man. Hours. It's just a matter of which topic you want to talk about. What about you? What else do you want to add in?
Um, I pretty much do the same thing as you, bro. You know, I just except I don't do cold calling, bro. I used to have 10 cold callers, but It's probably me that sucked with the cold callers, man. I didn't fire fast like you did. I had 4 solid cold callers. I kept, 6 of them.
You got rid of all of them at this point?
No, no, no. I got rid of 6 of them. And
Okay,
so,
I was
but
about to
I
say
got
if you got rid of the four, let me take them off your hands. I would have paid you money for those callers straight up. I would have taken them right now.
yeah,
Yeah,
so those 6 people, man, I kept them on like, 3 months longer than I should have. You know what I mean? So,
yeah. I mean, you got to be higher. They always say, higher, slow,
fire
higher,
fast.
slow, and fire fast. I mean,
Yeah.
I kind of do both. I kind of hire fast and fire fast, which is fine for me. But when it comes to cold callers, fire and VAs, do not be scared to fire because you're gonna have to go through a lot of bad ones in order to find the good ones. I had this one caller that went on my dialer, and I was like, okay, say the city name. He was in the Philippines. He was like, oh, we buy property in Tampa, Tampa. Were you looking to sell your property? And the seller was like, no habla inglés, no habla inglés. And the guy was like, oh, he just ignored what he said and said, oh, you have a property. As soon as I heard that call, it was about a second hour call for me.
Oh my
Hey,
God.
buddy, you're fired. He said that was it. So you gotta dump them quick till you find the good ones. You find the good ones, hold on to them like they're your wife because they are your wife. They're bringing the bread.
Big facts, bro. All right, bro. I think this is it for this podcast, man. And then, we'll probably do a second one, man, pretty soon.
Yeah, we'll do a longer one later when we have more time. But if you're looking for records, Josh Chan is a man. There's no one else to go to. List store, it's all bullshit. Straight to Josh. That's where I get all my records from. Full disclosure, and yeah, that's how I was able to enter like 50 markets or some shit like that. I don't even know. It's looking crazy. We have leads coming in from all over the place. It's like Pittsburgh is the craziest market. Honestly, we're getting a duplex for $7,000, and the ARV is like 150. And the seller
Hell
was
yeah,
asking
bro.
for 15. Like, there are some great markets out there. All you gurus keep fighting Arizona. Enjoy like Miami. I'll just pick up deals in Pittsburgh. I'm fine with it.
Big facts, bro. Dude, let's fucking crush it today, man.
All right, brother. You have a great day. We'll be in touch. Bye
All
bye.
right, sounds good. Thanks, bro.